All right, how's it going, everybody? Thursday, July 3rd, 4 o'clock p.m. Eastern time. I got a few dogs here that I'm watching, so it's gonna be a little noisy. Just got to get some mic time there. But with me riding shotgun is roaming crypto, trusty mod, one of the leaders of the Discord community for us, and takes care of a bunch of our socials. So great to have him with us. And if he'd accept the if he'd accept the invite I sent him, Radio Frog out there, we want to have him come up and speak with us. So yeah, it's pretty good time around Metafide right now. We have Matt Cross out there at ETHCC. He's been showing the Surge platform, talking through the game, what we're doing, and essentially, it's a huge hit. I mean, that's basically the best way to put it. So he's out there, and this is the last event he's got to do for a little while. I think the next one that we'll head to is probably Korean Blockchain Week, and then after that, maybe head over to Toga 2049 in Singapore. And it like things are great. And by then, I expect that we'll be out. So that's the first bit of alpha is that sometime between now and Korean Blockchain Week, you're going to see this project launch, and we're going to be out in the general market. But we're going to start letting people in much before that. But that's sort of our deadline here. Things are shaping up really great. We have over 100,000 people on the wait list to get into the game. We have of those, I think we have 45,000 emails. So things are shaping up pretty nicely around there. We have a beta test list, a couple thousand long, where people want to get in and give us feedback. And we have a special group of alpha testers, some of whom are on the call here, that we've been working through to get some feedback, and they've been instrumental in helping us fine tune the game. So we're going to do probably another couple of rounds with the desktop version and give those folks a chance to give some feedback about that. And then we're going to start expanding that to a broader beta list. So the way you get into the beta test is you hit up roaming or Yeti inside the Discord. Make sure you're active, make sure you're contributing, and we'll get you slated to come in and give us some of your feedback too. And it goes right into the game. We take those sessions very seriously. We go back, do some planning, and think about what we need to do to improve it. If it's a good idea, it goes in. That's pretty much how it works. So thanks everybody for the feedback so far. How are you doing today, roaming?
Man, I'm pumped.
Yeah.
What a week it's been, yeah.
Yeah, what a ride.
Super exciting. It's been flat tech. I'm not going to lie, me and Yeti are a little bit, our fingers are a bit sore and a little bit stretched. It's been so good catching up with everyone, rocking into the Discord the last few days. There's been so much happening behind the scenes. I don't have another way to sum up the week except for just absolutely pumped, absolutely stoked.
Yeah, the size of our Discord's exploded, and we released our funding announcement where we announced our seed round of just about 3.3 million, and we have now a bunch of inbound interest. Like everybody pretty much saw that. I think we looked at our press on it, and it went out to a potential audience of about 165 million users over the first 48 hours of it. So if they didn't know about us before, they know about us now. So that's good news. And we want to share what we're doing with the world. So it's about time we're starting to make our way out there. Before we get into the nuts and bolts of it, that's just to give a status on the market. You have BTC. It's pushing 110, and it was over 110K earlier in the day. Looks like that's possibly a new normal, at least for a while. And the markets are all good. I mean, I think that they're sort of behaving reasonable but optimistically, and I think that's maybe a new territory for Web3 in general. Usually, it's flamboyantly, flagrantly, enthusiastic to the point of not being realistic, or people are so down on it act like it's going to go away and die in 2 weeks. And so this is the first time it feels like people are giving us sort of a reasonable indicator on what the market is. Also, the fact that it's weathered a few shots to the gut for the overall global economy, it does give me reason to believe that there's a bunch of people joining our cause. So it's good to see that. And with us as one of the speakers here, we have Radio Frog. He is one of our Swiss Army knife specialists. He's an intern here. And how are you doing today, Radio Frog? What's it like being at a company that starts to take off while you're an intern?
Hey, how's it going, guys? First of all, thanks for bringing me on, Frank. This is an honor. An intern at Metafide, it's a lot of different things, which is good. You know, I'm young, I'm trying to learn, and every day I get to see a new, different part of the business, different part of the industry. And so, yeah, every day's a different task, different battle, and it's just great to be able to see an emerging company grow, especially me as someone an entrepreneurship spirit like myself, trying to hopefully one day start my own company like this. It's great to see and learn all the different elements that's going into it. So it's been great so far. It's been a busy week, but it's been good.
Yeah, definitely. And also, everybody else that just heard what he said, if you're thinking about starting a company and you think you can do it, you should. You should go do it. Don't let anybody tell you can't do it. I mean, don't have a dumbass idea like some of these people pitching these VCs and trying to go out for funding that doesn't help anybody or doesn't do anything. If it's not gonna make things better, faster, cheaper, or easier for somebody, don't do it. Rethink it about what you're gonna do. But if you do have a good idea, you should go do it before some other idiot messes your idea up. And so that's my advice on that. Actually, on that, sort of the topic, what are you going to tell them when you go back to school and they ask you, what did you do this summer? Like, what was your internship like? What are you going to say? And keep in mind, you can say anything you want. Like, everything's fair game. I was dumb enough to ask an unscripted question, so feel free to answer however you need to.
No, absolutely, Frank. No, it's gonna be. I'm gonna have a lot to talk about when I get back to school. I'm gonna talk about a lot about just being around an emerging company. You know, especially finance, all that. Seeing a company go to market, seeing just like every day the company grows further and further. Like this week's been huge for the company, and just seeing those small wins, just it perks everyone's ears up, and you can see everyone starting to talk about Metafide a little more. It's exciting. I'm excited to share all the great people that I've met doing this, all the incredible opportunities I've gotten from doing this, and yeah, I'm gonna have a lot to share with my friends, with my teachers, just because it's a one of a kind experience in being front and center and being a part of a company in its early stages like this, and especially an awesome company with an awesome team like Metafide.
I feel like when you joined, it's kind of like one of those videos you see on Instagram or TikTok or whatever, where they strap somebody into the ride on the boardwalk or something, and then they're like kind of don't tell you what's about to happen, and they let go, and you just like rocket off into orbit. And to your credit, you didn't freak out or make any of those weird faces, and you didn't scream like a lesser person would have. And I think that your stiff upper lip in the face of real challenges has been appreciated, man. So thanks for coming along for the ride.
Of course, absolutely, Frank. It's been so good to just see and experience so many new ideas, new things, and I'm learning a whole bunch. So there's nothing to complain about.
So roaming, what's the temperature of the community right now? How are they seeing things?
I think buzzing, excited. Everyone's digging in. Like we sort of touched on, there's been a huge flood of people in over the last throughout the week, and they're continuing flow in, which is super exciting to see. And everyone's just keen to dig in and I guess find out more about what Metafide's all about. We've got a lot of fresh faces around, a lot of questions flying around. There's a lot of excitement. Everyone's jumped on the wait list, which is super cool. It's great to have a path forward for how they can then get some early access to that. So thanks for dropping that. But yeah, everyone's excited and just wanting to know more. Want to know who are we, what are we about, and where are we going?
Yeah,
in the short term.
yeah, and you know how much I love talking about myself, but like we could talk about this a little bit. Um, Essentially, if you want to say what is Metafide, Metafide is a platform dedicated to sort of predicting and understanding the value of an asset in real time. In this case, blockchain assets, but that's not all. And I'll talk about that in a second. But we use AI to predict asset price movements near term. And then we have games that help us improve upon that AI signal. So we marry people plus AI, and we generate a better prediction than just raw AI. And we use sort of like competitive gaming environments to do that. So we have a platform that we're testing now called Surge. The first game that's been tested is called Spot. The next one is going to be called Range. Range is already in development. We'll be letting people in to test that soon. And our plan is to basically set up a bunch of different innovative ways for people to win real value for improving the system and make it fun for people to compete against each other and compete against AI in sort of a trading game format. And if you want to just, if you want to give the elevator pitch, Metafide basically turns trading into a global sport. And it's fun. It's competitive. It's a way to win big. And we look at what we're trying to do to make the financial system accessible and participatory for the people that are our users. So that's what we're doing in a nutshell. As for me, I'm a multi-time founder, multi-exit founder and CEO. I was the previous co-founder of Social Flow, which is the world's largest publisher of social media. It has basically, you name a media property: New York Times, Wall Street Journal, Washington Post, Al Jazeera, BBC. Like, they all use the platform to figure out what to publish and when. The idea being, if you have a main Twitter handle or a main X handle or a main Facebook page, which goes out when, and it uses a bunch of different AI techniques and optimization to figure out when. And then when those things take off, it basically figures out, which of that deserves to be put up for premium inventory, and there's like sort of a private exchange on the back of that. So that was one of my previous companies. I went from there to a company called Tala AI and got that sold. That was my biggest investment. That was my first time as being a CEO, taking over someone else's company and doing that. And I got to tell you that I met Gunnar, our CFO, there, and that was great because Gunnar is one of the best people I've ever met, and I want to keep working with Gunnar. But that was a tough thing to do, go into someone else's company and fix it. Hey, relax. You guys want to get on the mic here? No. Sorry, guys. So it's essentially, I've been around the block. I've been developing coding since I was 8 years old. Originally went to school on a football scholarship, and I medical redshirted when I got there because I was sick, and in that first year, because I had to recover, I was in the part of the campus that had a computer lab, and I went back and started getting back into things that I'd maybe given up a little bit for sport for a few years, and rediscovered my love of coding and building websites and building new technologies. And so that was in the Web 1 days back in the 1900s. But yeah, now I'm here and doing our thing with the great team at Metafide. One of my favorite things is to build cultures. So the company is essentially a culture with a directed purpose, and that's what we're doing. And I say this, a lot. Maybe this group hasn't heard it, but you're always basically in three businesses at any given time, right? You're in the business of your product for your users. You want to make sure your users are served, their life is a little bit better for using it somehow. So that's like your first business, to have direct line and understanding of your users and make sure that things are great for them. And then if you're any good at that, second line of business you're in is making the value of the company grow for the employees and the shareholders and people who have a vested interest in it. And that's an important piece of doing this, especially in the venture game, because you want to make sure that you're sort of rocketing to a scalable company, and you're doing that. So you line those two things up, you're great. And then what really sets it apart, I think, is from the things I've been a part of, is the most important business you're in or ever in, and if you're going to start a company, this is sort of why I'm saying this, is you want to make the time that you spend at the company irreplaceable and untradeable by the person who's doing it. So if somebody looks back and says, like, I love doing that with those people, and it made my life better every day that I showed up. We got to get through things and think through things that nobody else is doing. We got to win and do something that someone else didn't get to do. And I did it with my people. Then that's I think the most important business you're in when you're in a startup. And I would recommend for everybody to keep that in mind. If you don't feel like you could just spend your time anywhere, you're not doing it right. So, I wake up every day and I'm super psyched to come to work and can't wait to hear from people. And I don't just mean work stuff, like, where is this project and how's this going? And is this on time? Like, not just that stuff, but it's like, hey man, what happened with your kid? Did you get into college? Did you get a new dog? Did you go on a vacation? Like, just like, I actually want to hear about the people we're doing this with. And it's great to hear as you build wins together, you could see people look at winning in life a little different too. And then you kind of all start to think like we can all win for together and we can all win in what we're doing, and people care about each other more. It's some way better way to do it. So that's a little bit about who we are. How do you think about it, man? Like, what's your take on this? Like, what do you think that Metafide is about?
To me, what hooked me, I think, from the very first conversation that you and I had last year, whenever that was, lose track, I think it's about a year ago now. It was just that really simple and obvious concept of taking what everyone was super hyped about, but no one was doing very well, taking that like AI prediction, the AI feed, and then capturing a strong and accurate signal from smart, intelligent, skillful human beings, and putting them together and discovering the power that that unlocks.
Yeah.
That to me was the idea that sold me on Metafide in 30 seconds, and watching you guys build and develop the platforms and the games and the engagement and everything around that, and seeing how that all comes together is for me the excitement of Metafide.
Awesome, man. And I'm glad you answered that. Not only because you have people on here and in Discord saying they've never heard Roaming speak before, so there you have it. That's what he sounds like. His English is obviously much better than mine, and so you have that. It's such a charming accent, really. But essentially, yeah, man. I firmly believe that there's a place in these markets for people, and that having people participate in the way that markets tune and optimize, getting that signal in as much as we can makes sense, and makes sense for the overall health and future value of people. And honestly, if you're just doing this to serve a bunch of computers and want to automate the hell out of life, then I don't have a whole lot of love for you, and it's not really what we're about. But we think that giving people the tools and the ability to compete in these sort of sporting events, if you will, like for forecasting, prices, then that's a really cool thing to do. It's also a way for us to come at a hierarchical financial system and sort of arbitrage it into a decentralized, more fair and equitable and reasonable way to do economic transfer, right? So this is just at the beginning. We're sort of standing at the open, the door just opened. Now we're all just sort of piling inside. So that's sort of where I see that. Also, to that end, I know everyone's looking for a little bit of alpha. I'll give you some pretty big alpha, and that is, and you saw this today, Romy. I posted it into the general chat for the company. We've started testing the predictions of real world assets, and especially some equities. And I can tell you now that pretty soon, for the Spec Ops group, the alpha group that's here, you'll be able to do Bitcoin forecasting as we have now, but we're also going to launch NVIDIA forecasting as our first equity that we're going to have people competing to fine tune. And that has a whole bunch of roadmap implications behind it. But we're the only people in the world that are doing this. And, I think like there's so much that I want to say, but I'm just waiting to just do it and show people. So whatever you think is about to happen, just imagine it fivefold, because that's sort of where we're headed. And it's going to be really awesome. Also, I see Fernando's in here. How's it going, bud? We are rolling the desktop version pretty soon, and the version for the range game is about to go out there. So we can't wait to get that in the hands of everybody. So you'll be able to do the mobile or desktop version of Spot and predict BTC or NVIDIA all before we go live. And if I'm not giving away too much, it won't be just those two assets either. So that's as much of a hint I'll be able to give. So we've already sort of established and dropped that, we're going to get the game and the token out by Korean Blockchain Week, and we're working on predicting real world assets, and we're involving people in that. So I think it's pretty good bit to end the week on. Also, for everybody out there, I know a lot of people kind of envision the 4th of July as being sort of characterized as, eagles drinking beers on jet skis, jumping them over the Statue of Liberty. But that's not all it is. That's a huge part of it, by the way, as I live in the South here. But no, they're also on four-wheelers and sometimes pickup trucks. But also, I think the key part of it is it's not the founding of America like people talk about. No, like the 4th of July is one of my favorite days of the year, because what it signifies is people standing up to a system that's not serving them and telling that system to go fuck itself, and they're going to do something different. Thank you very much. That is my favorite thing in all of holidays. Like, that concept right there is one of my favorite things to do. As much as I love cheeseburgers, hot dogs, and steaks, and my dog and apple pie, like, I love that concept of freedom even more. And it's not specifically an American one. It's one of those things that we all got attracted to do this a little differently, do something together. And I think that we're at the beginning of one of those intervals in history again. And I couldn't think of a better group of people to be doing it with. So thank you very much. And we don't have to pick sides. You don't have to pick red or blue. You don't have to pick, which country you're going to rep. We could all just say we want to be free together and just move forward that way. So before I step down off my soapbox again, I just want to say we'll welcome everybody new to the journey and all the OGs that have been pulling with us so far. And really looking forward to the next couple of weeks with everybody, because we're about to do some big things. What do you got planned for this weekend, Romy?
A lot of recovering. We had a big weekend last weekend, and we were away and did a whole lot of camping and stuff with the young ones. This weekend is staying at home, fixing the house, and doing a whole lot of stuff for the community for Metafide. I've got a big long list. The community's been hassling me about a number of things that I've said are coming, and this weekend is the weekend to get them built, get them out, and get some prizes into people's hands.
Yes. Speaking of prizes, I don't want to steal any of your thunder, but we just got in, and we just got set aside some budget to do some pretty big things for the community. So I know you're happy to hear that. Like, I know you've been pushing for the community to make sure that they have more and better, and for what you guys are doing. And I think we've been able to answer that. So next couple of weeks should be pretty awesome. So we'll talk about that after me and my eagle get off our jet skis this weekend, and we settle back down. So we'll talk about that. What about you, Radio Frog? Being a college buddy, what do you do on the 4th of July to relax?
Well, I'm getting all fired up. Tomorrow's going to be an awesome day. Big 4th of July. But actually, I have family. My 90-year-old granny is visiting from Ireland at the moment, so it's going to be a very family oriented July 4th. I got all my cousins here. We're just going to hang out, eat some hot dogs, light off some fireworks. It's going to be a blast. Looking forward to it.
Yeah. And so I think that we could probably end it there and just say, everybody stay safe. Make sure you come back with as many fingers you went into the weekend with. For those of you in the U.S. that are celebrating, and we're going to be dropping some more alpha next Tuesday. So show up to that one, 9:30 a.m. Eastern time. It's to get into the Discord again, discord.gg/FIDE-token. You can follow us on YouTube at Metafide. You can follow us on X at FIDE_AI. And definitely make sure that you go to surge.metafide.io, SUGRE.metafide, METAFIDE.io, and register for the waitlist if you haven't already. Make sure you let your friends know, because the people on that list are going to be eligible for some rewards and early access to stuff. So you want to make sure that you're letting everybody know, and don't just keep all the love for yourself, because we're going to take care of you. And come join us on this ride, everybody. We're having a great time doing it. Really glad to be doing it with you. And stay safe. Have a great weekend, no matter where you are in the world. And remember, freedom is not just a location. It's like wherever you are, you can do it. We want to be doing it with you. Take care, everybody. We'll see you soon.
We appreciate you for listening to our space. If you want early access to rewards for our new game Surge, visit surge.metafide.io to claim your spot on the waitlist today. That's surge.metafide.io. We're excited to see you there.